In this lecture, I will explain the concept canonical ensemble. In the last lecture, I explained what is microcanonical ensemble. Actually, microcanonical ensemble is specified by a fixed number of particles, a fixed volume, and fixed energy. That is, it is completely isolated system. A collection of identical isolated systems constitutes a microcanonical ensemble. But practically, it is not possible to maintain the system at a constant energy. So, in practical cases, there will always be some fluctuation of energy. That is, energy can vary from, say, E minus delta by 2 to E plus delta by 2. Okay? This delta is very small compared to E, but there will be some fluctuation in all practical cases. So, microcanonical ensemble can be defined as the macro state which is specified by fixed number of particles and fixed volume. The energy which is lying between E minus delta by 2 to E plus delta by 2 in practical cases. Now, so due to this difficulty of fixing energy and also measuring the total energy, we can look for an alternative. And the alternative is, instead of considering systems having fixed energy, we can consider systems having fixed temperature. T is temperature. So instead of fixing energy, we will consider systems with a fixed temperature. Then it is easy to measure the temperature of a system by simply putting a thermometer in contact with the system. And also it is easy to maintain a constant temperature by keeping the system in contact with a heat reservoir. A heat reservoir is something which is always keeping a constant temperature irrespective of the heat energy taken from it or irrespective of the heat energy given to it. എത്ര ഹീറ്റ് അങ്ങോട്ട് കൊടുത്താലും എത്ര ഹീറ്റ് അവിടെ നിന്ന് എടുത്താലും ആ സിസ്റ്റത്തിന്റെ ടെമ്പറേച്ചർ മാറുന്നില്ല എങ്കിൽ വി ക്യാൻ കൺസിഡർ ദാറ്റ് ആസ് എ ഹീറ്റ് റിസർവോയർ. Okay, so by keeping your system in contact with a heat reservoir, you can keep a constant temperature. So it is always easy to deal with this thing. So such a collection of systems in which you have total number of particles n fixed, total volume fixed, and the temperature is fixed. That is called a canonical ensemble. The macro state is defined as NVT instead of NVE. Okay. Now, there are two ways to deal with canonical ensemble. One is, take your system. Okay, the aim is to study the thermodynamics of a particular system. So take your system, then keep it in contact with a heat reservoir which is at a temperature T. That is the first approach. So this is, suppose this is the reservoir. Okay, its size is very large compared to the system. This A is your system, A prime is your reservoir. A is in contact with the A prime. Energy can exchange between A and A prime. They are at the same temperature, but the energy of A and A prime can vary. This is one approach. The second approach, you can consider your system. You can consider your system one among a collection of identical systems. Okay, നിങ്ങളുടെ സിസ്റ്റം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കുറെ ഐഡന്റിക്കൽ സിസ്റ്റംസ് ഉള്ളതിൽ ഒരെണ്ണം ആണ് നിങ്ങളുടെ സിസ്റ്റം എന്ന് കൺസിഡർ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. Okay, you can consider a collection of identical systems, and one among that will be your the system under consideration. Okay, so instead of keeping it in contact with a heat reservoir, you consider an identical systems, an ensemble of systems. This is ensemble viewpoint. All these systems have the same macro state. Total number of particles n is fixed, total volume is fixed, total temperature of the system is fixed. This is the second approach. Now, for canonical ensemble, a system can have varying energy. The energy E can vary from 0 to say infinity. Okay, it can take any value from 0 to infinity. Now the question is, what is the probability of finding a system in the ensemble in one of the microstate specified by a particular energy eigenvalue ER. Here, your system can take any value of energy. Then naturally the question arises, what is the probability that the system can choose an energy ER? Or what is the probability that the system can have an energy eigenvalue ER? So we are going to calculate that quantity. That is represented as PR of ER, probability of finding a system in the ensemble in an energy ER. Again, we will consider that in two different approaches. One is the heat reservoir approach, by considering the system in equilibrium with a heat reservoir and studying the exchange of energy between those two. The second approach is ensemble approach. In this, we will consider the system as a member of a large collection of identical systems, and we will study how a total energy can be shared among these systems. So these are the two approaches we are going to discuss. First approach is equilibrium between system and heat reservoir. So consider a system, that the red one, system is named as A and the temperature of the system is T. The reservoir, which is the blue one, okay, the large one, it is the reservoir, it is named as A prime. It is also at the temperature, at a constant temperature T. So the temperature of both reservoir and system is the same. The system and reservoir are in thermal contact, but the combined system and reservoir, the combined system is thermally isolated from the surroundings. That means total energy E0 of system and reservoir, ER plus ER prime, is a constant. At a particular instant of time, let ER be the energy of the system and then ER prime be the energy of reservoir. Total will be a constant always. ER can vary, ER prime can vary, but the sum is always a constant. Also, we assumed that the share of energy for the system, okay, the fraction of energy taken by the system is very small. From the total energy, system will take only a very small fraction of energy. So ER is very small fraction of E0. That is, our heat reservoir is very large compared to our system. That is our assumption. So ER by E0 is equal to, I can write ER as E0 minus ER prime. So substituting that value in the numerator, you will get 1 minus ER prime by E0 is very much less than 1. So this is our assumption. System is very small compared to our reservoir. Now, suppose the system chooses a particular microstate. That is our initial assumption. System is in a particular microstate with energy ER. Then reservoir can be in any one of the microstate specified by ER prime. System ഒരു particular energy ER ൽ ഒരു particular microstate choose ചെയ്തു. Then the reservoir's energy is of course ER prime. But with this particular energy ER prime, reservoir have an infinite number of microstates possible. A large number of microstates are available for the reservoir. And the reservoir can be in any one of that microstates. Let that number of microstates be omega prime, which is of course a function of ER prime. Now, we know that larger the number of microstates for a particular energy value, larger the probability of the system for seeing in that energy. Larger the probability of seeing the system in that energy. ഏത് എനർജിയിലാണോ ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ മൈക്രോസ്റ്റേറ്റ് പറ്റുന്നത്, that the system will have a larger probability of finding in that energy. So omega prime കൂടുന്നതിനനുസരിച്ച് probability of finding the reservoir in ER prime will be high, and that is same as probability of finding the system in energy ER. Whenever the reservoir is in energy ER prime, system will be at an energy ER. So probability of finding reservoir in an energy ER prime larger and larger, then probability of finding the system in energy ER will also be larger and larger. So that directly proportional to PR of ER, probability of finding the system in energy ER is directly proportional to omega prime ER prime. Okay, that's our claim. Now ER prime is E0 minus ER, so I can substitute here E0 minus ER. Now next we are going to do a Taylor expansion, because this ER is very small. This ER is very small, so we can do a Taylor expansion of omega prime ER prime about ER prime equal to E0, about the point ER prime equal to E0. Okay, but this omega prime is a very large quantity. The number of microstates is usually very high. So instead of taking the Taylor expansion of omega prime, we are going to take the Taylor expansion of logarithm of that number, because that quantity itself is very large. So for reasons of convergence of the series, we will consider logarithm of that number. So take logarithm of omega prime ER prime, expand it about which value? The total energy is 0. So log omega prime is 0 plus first derivative dou by dou E prime of log omega prime evaluated at E prime equal to E0 into ER prime minus E0 plus etc. Now the most important point is ER prime minus E0, that is nothing but the system's energy. Okay, ER system energy. Okay, that quantity is very small. We assumed that the energy of system is very small, so we can neglect the second order terms. But next term, the next term will have ER prime minus E0 whole square. Since ER prime minus E0 is very small, you can neglect second order terms. So log omega prime ER prime is equal to, this quantity is a constant because E0 is a constant. So constant plus, what is dou by dou E of log omega? From the first lecture, we have seen that this is beta. This is beta. So I can denote it as beta prime. That is for the reservoir, because all these are prime. So this is also beta prime. Into ER prime minus E0 is minus ER, because E0 minus ER prime is ER. So ER prime minus E0 is minus ER. Substitute that. Log omega prime ER prime is equal to constant minus beta prime ER. So omega prime ER prime equal to E raised to constant minus beta prime ER. That I can write it as some C into E raised to minus beta prime ER. So I can write omega prime ER prime is proportional to E raised to minus beta prime ER. What is beta prime? It is 1 by KT prime, because it is for reservoir, 1 by KT prime. But we know that the reservoir and system are at the same temperature, T prime equal to T. So I can write it as 1 by KT. Therefore, omega prime ER prime proportional to E raised to minus K minus ER by KT. Now, PR of ER is proportional to this number, and that is proportional to E raised to minus ER by KT. So I can write it as PR of ER proportional to E raised to minus ER by KT. E raised to minus ER by KT. And assume that there is a proportionality constant A. So PR of ER equal to A E raised to minus ER by KT. What is the total probability? The systems will be in any one of the energy eigenvalue. Okay? The system will be in any one of the energy eigenvalue. So total probability should be 1. എന്തായാലും സിസ്റ്റത്തിന് ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു എനർജി ലെവലിൽ കാണാതിരിക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല. So total probability sum over all energy eigenvalues PR should be 1. So 1 left hand side 1 is equal to right hand side sum over all energy values A E raised to minus ER by KT. So A is a constant, you can take it outside. This sigma term can go to the left hand side. So A is 1 divided by sigma R E raised to minus ER by KT. So PR of ER is equal to, substitute for this A, you will get E raised to minus ER by KT divided by sigma R E raised to minus ER by KT. This is the probability of finding the system in an energy eigenvalue ER. In an energy eigenvalue ER. Because in canonical ensemble, the system can have a varying energy. System can take any value of energy between 0 and infinity. So what is the probability of finding the system in a particular energy ER? That is given by E raised to minus ER by KT divided by sigma R E raised to minus ER by KT. The denominator, this quantity is called the partition function, and we will discuss the significance of that quantity later. And now we will consider the second approach for finding the probability. That second approach is called the ensemble approach. In this, we will consider our system as a member of n identical systems, all having same temperature, and sharing the total energy, say E. Okay, you have n number of identical systems and a total energy E. Among the systems, this energy is distributed. There may be different ways of distribution that we will discuss. So the situation is this: there are n identical systems and a total energy E is shared among these systems. Suppose n1 systems have energy E1, n2 systems have energy E2, and so on. Then I can write total number of systems as sigma r nr. ഇതെല്ലാം കൂടെ കൂട്ടിക്കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ n1 സിസ്റ്റത്തിന് എനർജി E1 ഉണ്ട്, n2 E2 എനർജി ഉള്ളവരാണ്. അങ്ങനെ ഇവരുടെ എല്ലാം കൂടെ നമ്പർ കൂട്ടിക്കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ യു ഷുഡ് ഗെറ്റ് ദ ടോട്ടൽ നമ്പർ ഓഫ് സിസ്റ്റംസ് n. Similarly, total energy is nre. It is the sum nrer, because n1 particles with energy E1 means the total energy of that n1 systems are n1 E1. N2 systems with energy E2 means total energy of that N2 systems is N2 E2. The sum of all these energy will give you total energy E. So sigma R nr er will give you total energy E. And if I assume that there is an average energy per system, that is U, then I can say that total energy is also N into U. Average energy per system is U. There are n systems, so n into U will also give you total energy. This is equation 1. Now, there are different distributions. I will denote it as curly bracket nr, satisfying equation 1. നമ്മൾ ഈ പറഞ്ഞ condition satisfy ചെയ്യുന്ന different distributions are there. Corresponding to a particular distribution nr, there will be W of nr possible arrangements again. Corresponding to one particular distribution, there are various possible arrangements. How many arrangements? That is given by W of nr is equal to n factorial by n1 factorial into n2 factorial into x. Okay? All this I will explain with a simple example. Suppose you have 4 systems, n is equal to 4, and you are sharing an energy of 8E among all the systems. These 4 systems, there are total energy of 8E sharing with this 4. And I cannot share it any amount of energy that is quantized. Suppose I have only these packets of energy. One is E, the other one is 2E, the other one is 3E. These are the only possible ways I can share this energy. Either I can give an energy of E, or I can give an energy of 2E, or I can give an energy of 3E. This is the only possible values I can give to each system. And how many ways we can distribute this energy among these systems? That I will denote here. The first possibility, first distribution, curly bracket nr of 1, that is, you give 2 epsilon energy to all the systems. 2 epsilon energy. Here, what is the meaning of first 0? The number of systems with energy, or number of systems for which we given energy E. 4 is the number of systems for which we given energy 2E. 0 is again the number of systems for which we given energy 3E. If we given only 2E energy to all 4 systems, then the total energy will be 4 into 2E, total 8E. Total number of particles is also satisfied. For not number of particles, 4 systems. 4 systems, each system have an energy 2E, so total is 8E. And that distribution, how many ways? So here I draw a figure. This is the energy E, the systems with energy E. This is the systems with energy 2E. This is systems with energy 3. There is all the systems are given 2E energy each. None of the system have energy E. None of the system have energy 3E. Then our condition will satisfy. If you exchange two systems among the same energy, that will not be a distinct state. Okay, they are all the equivalent. നിങ്ങൾ ഇതിൽ തന്നെ രണ്ടെണ്ണം തമ്മിൽ എക്സ്ചേഞ്ച് ചെയ്യുക എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് that will not make any difference. If you name these systems as 1, 2, 3, 4, exchanging these systems will not make any difference. So this is just a single arrangement. This is a single arrangement. For this distribution 0 for 0, how many number of arrangements are there? Answer is, we have this equation n factorial by n1 factorial into n2 factorial into etc. Here n is 4, 4 factorial divided by n1 is 0, n2 is 4, n3 is 0. So 0 factorial into 4 factorial into 0 factorial, that is 1. Only one possible arrangement. Now consider another distribution. It is, you give E energy to 2 system, 3E energy to 2 system. Okay, E energy to 2 systems, 3E energy to 2 systems. None of the system will have energy 2E. Then what is the total energy? There are 2 systems with energy E, that makes 2E. There are 2 systems with energy 3E, that makes 6E. Total of 8E. So total systems is 4, total energy is 80. Condition is satisfied. This is another distribution. Now, how many ways we can achieve this? You can place system 1 and 2 here in the first with the energy E, and system 3 for given energy 3E. You can give energy E to system 1 and 3, or system 1 and 4, or system 2 and 3, or system 2 and 4, or system 3 and 4. 6 possible ways you can give energy E to either systems 1 and 2, or systems 1 and 3, or systems 1 and 4, or systems 2 and 3, or systems 2 and 4, or systems 3 and 4. Okay, so there are 6 arrangements. That number, how can we obtain from this equation? N is again 4, n1, n2, n3 are now 202. So 2 factorial into 0 factorial into 2 factorial. You will get 6. Now, is there any other distribution? Yes. That is 1, 2, 1. That is, you give E energy to one system, 2E energy to 2 systems, 3E energy to 1 system. Then total energy will be 3 plus 4 plus 1, 8. There are 4 systems. Okay, so this is also a possible distribution. How many ways you can achieve this? You can give E energy to first system, or second system, or third system, or fourth system. Okay, and if you are given energy E to the first system, then 2E can be given to systems second system and third system, or this 4 can place here. So there are different arrangements. You can write all those. There will be 12 arrangements. There will be 12 different arrangements. Okay, you can simply write all those. Then these are the possible distributions. These are the only 3 distributions which is compatible with this particular microstate. N is equal to 4 and E is equal to 8 epsilon. This is the different distributions. 1, 6, 12. Total 19 possible arrangements are there. Now, I can define a number which is mean value or expectation value of n1. N1 or nr. So for n1, what is the definition? It is sigma prime n1 w of nr divided by sigma prime w of nr. What is the summation or prime? What is the meaning of prime summation? This summation is restricted to only the distribution which is satisfied by this microstate. നമ്മൾ total energy n ഉം total particle system n ഉം total energy E ഉം എന്നുള്ള satisfy ചെയ്യുന്ന, that is equation 1. The number of possible distributions which are satisfied by equation 1. That is the meaning of this primed summation. Okay, this primed summation runs over all distributions which are satisfied by equation 1. Okay, I will calculate these quantities for this example. Suppose this is the first one is your N1. Okay, the systems which are having energy E. That is the meaning of N1. The systems, number of systems that is having an energy E. So, in the first distribution it is 0, in the second distribution it is 2, in the third distribution it is 1. So, you can write it as 0 into, that is the value of WNR for that distribution 1. So, 0 into 1 plus 2 into 6 plus 1 into 12. That is the numerator. Divided by denominator is total number of all arrangements. 1 plus 6 plus 12. It is, you will get a 24 by 90. 24 by 90. Similarly, N2, expectation value or mean value of N2. What you have to do? What is N2? N2 is the number of systems which are having an energy 2E. Which are having an energy 2E. That is 4 into 1 plus 0 into 6 plus 2 into 12 will be in the numerator. Divided by denominator is always the same. 1 plus 6 plus 12. It is 28 by 90. What is expectation value of N3? That is the number or N3 is the number of systems which is having an energy 3E. Which is having an energy 3E. So you will get 0 into 1 plus 2 into 6 plus 1 into 12. Divided by denominator is again same 1 plus 6 plus 12. So 24 by 90. Now what is the meaning of this number? I will explain that. I will calculate this expectation value of N1 divided by total number of systems. Total 4 systems are there. We are expecting that this much number of systems. This is the average number of systems which is having an energy E. This is the average number of systems which is having an energy E. So N1 by N, that is 24 by 19 divided by 4. 25 by 4 is, so 24 by 4 is 6. So that is 6 by 19. What is 6 by 19? It is roughly say 1 by 3. 1 by 3. So this is nothing but the probability of finding a system with an energy E. The probability of finding the system with an energy E. Because N1 is the average number of systems having energy E. This N is the total number of systems you have. So this N1 by N will give you the probability of the system have an energy E. Now similarly N2 by N you can calculate it as 7 by 19. This is the probability of finding the system in the ensemble in an energy with an energy 2E. This is again the probability of finding the system in the ensemble with an energy of 3E. This is the figure of various distributions. I already mentioned for the second distribution 202. 202. Two systems have energy E. Two systems have energy 2E. Two systems. 1 minute. I will denote this energy as E, 2E and 3E. So, two systems with energy E and two systems with energy 3E. That can be visualized in 6 ways. Because system C and D can have energy E. Or system B and D can have energy E. System B and C can have energy. All these are distinguishable. Okay. So, there are 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then all systems with energy 2E, that is only one distribution, only one arrangement in that distribution, and the 12 different arrangements for the third distribution. Okay, this is the ways in which we can distribute these energies to the systems. Now, I will define another number, N1 star, N2 star, N3 star. What is this star? These are numbers corresponding to the distribution for which W of NR is maximum. Here in this specific example, W of NR has three values for the three distributions 1, 6 and 12. What is the maximum of this number? This is 12. And N1 star is the number of systems with energy E for this distribution. That is N1 star is 1. N2 star is the number of systems with energy 2E for this distribution. That is, it is N2 star is 2. N3 star number of systems with energy 3E for this particular distribution. That is N3 star is 1. So I think it is clear that star denotes the number or the distribution set which has maximum value of W. W maximum ആവുന്ന distribution setനെയാണ് NR star എന്ന് കാണിക്കുന്നത്. അതിലുള്ള ഓരോ numbers ആണ് N1 star, N2 star, N3 star, etc. Okay. So these are N1 star, N2 star, N3 star. Here you have the maximum value of W as 12 and the distribution is 1 to 1. So N1 star is 1, N2 star is 2, N3 star is 1. Here I will calculate a quantity N1 star by N. What is N1 star by N? N is 4, total number of system. It is 1 by 4 and it is 0.25. N2 star by N, it is 2 by 4, it is 0.5. N3 star by N, it is 1 by 4, it is 0.25. What are the value we obtained for N1 by N? Expectation value of N1 by N is 6 by 19, it is roughly 0.32. So there is a large deviation between these two. This N1 star by N is only 0.25. Expectation value of N1 by N is 0.32. Okay. Now we will consider another simple example. In this we have again four system and the total energy should be 6E. Total energy should be 6E. And we have four different energies possible. Either we can give an energy of 0 or an energy of E or an energy of 2E or an energy of 3E to the systems. Okay, I can give this I can have these four possibilities for visualizing this particular condition n equal to 4, E equal to. So I can say that these are the four energies that I can give 0, E, 2E, 3E. For achieving this condition, one of the method is you give E energy to two systems. Okay? Two systems you give an energy of E. Two systems you give an energy of 2E. Okay? Two systems with energy E, two systems with energy 2E. Then the total energy will be 6E and the total number of systems will be 4. And that distribution is 0 to 2, 0. How many ways we can visualize that? If we number these systems as say 1, 2, 3, 4, I can have 1 and 2 in this level here, 1, 3 here, 1, 4 here, 2, 3 here, 2, 4 here, 3, 4 here. Total 6. So that is the number of possible arrangements is represented on the y-axis. For this distribution, it is 6. The other distribution is 2002. 2002. Okay, two systems with energy 3 epsilon. Okay, two systems with energy 0. Then also you will have a total energy among the systems as 6E. That is 2002. Again, there are 6 options. There are 6 arrangements. Another arrangement is 1111. You can give a 0 energy to first, then epsilon or E energy to the second, 2E energy to the third system, 3E energy to the fourth system. Total 4 systems. All the energies are equally distributed. Then 1111. How many number of arrangements are there? You can calculate it using this expression n factorial divided by n1 factorial into n2 factorial, etc. And here it is 4 factorial by 1 factorial into 1 factorial into 1 factorial into 1 factorial. 24 different ways of visualizing that distribution. Then another one is 0301. There are 4 different ways. 1030. There are 4 different ways. So corresponding to a particular distribution, there are the number of arrangements is very high compared to the others. Okay. Now we can calculate what is expectation value of n1 in the same manner that we calculated in the earlier example. Okay. Here it will get it as 40 by 44. Okay. Calculation is exactly the same as the previous example. So I won't repeat it. 40 by 44. N2 it is 48 by 44. Expectation value of N3 it is 48 by 44. Expectation value of N4 it is 40 by 44. What is actually expectation value of N4? It is the number of systems in the ensemble which is having an energy 3E. 4 different energies are possible. N4 expectation value N4 is the average number of systems which are having energy 3 epsilon or 3E. N3 expectation value of N3 is the average number of systems with energy 2E and so on. Now what is expectation value of N1 by N? It is divide this quantity 40 by 44 divided by F4, then you will get 10 by 44. 10 by 44 is roughly 0.23. Similarly, you can calculate N2 by N, it is 12 by 44, it is roughly 0.27. This is N3 by N, it is also 12 by 44, it is 0.27. N4 by N, it is 10 by 44, it is 0.23. For this example also, I can figure out the distribution of or distribution for which W is maximum. Which is the distribution for which W is maximum? This one, 1, 1, 1, 1. And the number of microstates is 24, or number of arrangements is 24. For that, N1 star is 1, N2 star is 1, N3 star is 1, N4 star is 1. All the numbers are 1. So you can calculate N1 star by N. It is 1 by 4. It is roughly 0.25. Not roughly, it is exactly 0.25. N2 star by N, it is also 0.25. N3 star by N, it is also 0.25. N4 star by N, it is also 0.25. See, in the first example, total number of arrangements is only 19. Then the difference between these two quantities, N star by N and expectation NR by N, is large. This difference is large. But when the possible arrangements increased to 44, the difference between these two, this expectation N1 by N is 0.23, N1 star by N is 0.25. That difference is small. If you increase the number of arrangements again, then this difference will decrease. In the asymptotic limit, that is in the limit, the number of arrangements tends to infinity. What is the method for making this number of arrangements infinity? You make the number of particles tends to infinity. If you have, not number of particles, number of systems. If you have infinite number of systems, in the limit n tends to infinity, that is known as asymptotic limit, this expectation value nr by n will be exactly equal to nr star by n, and that is nothing but the probability of finding the system in an ensemble in an energy eigenvalue PR. This ensemble ഉള്ള different systems ഉണ്ട്, അതിന് പറ്റുന്ന different energies ഉണ്ട് നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞത്. അതിലൊരു particular energy സിസ്റ്റത്തിനെ കാണാനുള്ള probability ആയിട്ട് മാറും ഈ number. Okay. I think it is clear. I will mention one more thing. If the number of arrangements increases or in the limit n tends to infinity, this graph will behave like a Dirac delta. What I mean by it? It will be something like this. In the most probable distribution, that will be a sharply peaked function, and you can neglect all the numbers of other distributions as 0. Compared to this number, all other number will be negligibly small. In this example of 44 total arrangements, you can see that the maximum is 24. These are only 6 and 4. If you further increase the number of particles, this will again starts to increase, and this will decrease further and further. So eventually it will become a Dirac delta function. That is, you want to consider only the number in this distribution. ബാക്കി എല്ലാം നിങ്ങൾക്ക് നെഗ്ലക്ട് ചെയ്യാം. No need to take all the distribution. You just take the most probable distribution. Then ആ most probable distributionൽ 3 ഈ എനർജിയിൽ കാണുന്ന സിസ്റ്റത്തിന്റെ എണ്ണമാണ് 1. മൊത്തം സിസ്റ്റം 4 പേരുണ്ട്. So 1 among the 4 will have energy 3e. So what is the probability of finding a system with an energy 3e? It is 1 by 4. What is the probability of finding a system with an energy 2e? It is again 1 by 4. So no need to consider all the distribution. Then in the asymptotic limit, you need to consider only the most probable distribution. Okay. Now the next thing is, we are going to calculate what is nr star by n. Okay, nr star by n. That is a method of most probable values. Most probable എന്ന് പറയുന്നതാണ് ഈ nr star. Okay. So let nr star in curly bracket represents a distribution for which w of nr is maximum. Okay. നമ്മുടെ പല ഡിസ്ട്രിബ്യൂഷൻ ഉണ്ട്. w of nr maximum ആവുന്ന ഡിസ്ട്രിബ്യൂഷനെ ഞാൻ സ്റ്റാർ ഇട്ട് ഡിനോട്ട് ചെയ്യും. Let nr star represents a distribution for which w of nr is maximum. For finding the set nr which maximizes w of nr, we have to consider small variation of nr star, and if w of nr star is maximum, then delta of w of nr star will be 0. What is the meaning? Suppose you have a one-dimensional curve f of x. Here in this axis, horizontal axis, you have x. In the vertical axis, you have f of x. And this is a graph. And it has a maximum at x0. It has a maximum at x0. What is the meaning of a function having a maximum at x0? If you change the variable x0 very little, infinitesimally, if you vary x0 infinitesimally, that is, you make it as x0 plus delta x0. This delta x0 is an infinitesimal change. Then the change in function f of x is almost 0 in a maximum. If a graph is something like this, then if you take a point and take a small variation, then there will be a rise or lowering of function. But near a maxima, if you make an infinitesimal change, the change in function is almost 0. So we can define a stationary point or an extremum point as the one for which if we make an infinitesimal change, the change in function is 0. So if we change x0 infinitesimally, change in f, delta f is 0. If it is a maximum. F ile oru maximum aanu x0 il sambhavikkunnadengil, delta f will be 0 at that particular point x0 for very small variations. Similarly, if sigma or curly bracket nr star is the distribution which makes w of nr maximum, then if you consider small changes in these numbers nr, then delta of w nr star is 0. Okay. So I think you no need to write here WNR. If you consider a small variation for nr star, if WNR is maximum at this point, then delta of WNR will be 0. That is alright. So since W of nr star is very large, we will deal with its logarithm. Okay, we are not again deal with the number. We will deal with its logarithm because that number is very large. Okay, so as usual, we will deal with the logarithm. What is logarithm of WNR? It is logarithm of n factorial by n1 factorial into n2 factorial into etc. So log a by b, log a minus log b, and here it is a product. So you will get minus log n factor n1 factorial minus log n2 factorial minus log n3 factorial and so on. Using Stirling's formula, log n factorial is n log n minus n. N log n minus n. So this will be n log n minus n. This will be n1 log n1. Minus of minus n1 becomes plus n1. Then minus n2 log n2. Minus of minus n2 plus n2 out. So here you have the n1, n2, n3, etc. The sum of all these number will give you n, and that will cancels with this n. This is a negative n. These are all plus n1 plus n2 plus n3 plus etc. That will give you a plus n. This will cancel. This. So you will get it as n log n minus n1 log n1 minus log n n2 log n. So logarithm of w of nr is equal to n log n minus this. I can write it as a sum. Sigma r nr log n. Now we will take the change delta of log w of nr equal to 0 for the most probable distribution. That is our claim. So if you take the variation, the n is a constant, log n is a constant, so variation of this quantity is 0 minus sigma r. Here you have two times nr and log nr. First you take the nr constant, then log nr variation is 1 by nr into delta nr. That is this time. Nr is fixed 1 by nr into delta nr. Then you can take delta nr of this quantity keeping log nr constant. Okay, product rule. So delta nr into log nr. And this happens when nr is equal to nr star. For most probable distribution, only this right hand side is 0. So nr star. This nr and nr will cancel, and you take delta nr outside from these terms. You will get it as minus sigma r delta nr log nr star plus 1 equal to 0. But there is a problem. This minimization should happen within a constraint. This minimization should happen within a constraint. What is the constraint? This set should satisfy two conditions. എല്ലാ സെറ്റുകളും ഇത് ഓക്കെ ആവില്ല. There is two restrictions. One is sigma r nr should be total number of systems. Second is sigma r nr er is total energy E. So this all the distribution sets we are considered should satisfy these two restrictions. So in presence of a restriction, if you need to minimize a quantity, you should know what is method of Lagrange multiplier. What is method of Lagrange multiplier? I will just give you an idea what is method of Lagrange multiplier for doing this problem. What is the method? Finding extremum of a function in presence of a constraint. That is the idea of method of Lagrange multiplier. Finding extremum of a function in presence of a constraint. Suppose you have a function f of xy equal to x square plus y square. Where is the minimum or maximum of this function? Okay, we can say that the minimum or maximum occurs when df is 0. ഒരു particular point in about that, if there is no variation for f, then we can say that that is stationary at that point, or that point is an extreme. So that happens when df equal to 0. What is df? Dou f by dou x dx plus dou f by dou y dy equal to 0. What is dou f by dou x? 2x dx, because this is f. Dou f by dou x is 2x dx plus 2y dy equal to 0. This is true only when x and y are independently 0. Because x and y are in two perpendicular directions. So for this to satisfy, x and y separately should vanish. So x equal to 0, y equal to 0. So where is the minimum of x square plus y square? It is at x equal to 0 and y equal to 0. I will plot that function. I will plot that function. This is, what is the function? X square plus y square. X square plus y. So this is actually a paraboloid. Okay, this is something like this, and there is a minima here. Right at this point, there is a minima, and this point is nothing but 0, 0. This point is nothing but 0, 0. That is the meaning of this thing we have done here. Now, consider this situation. Find the minimum of x square plus y square in presence of a constraint x plus y minus 1 equal to 0. Again, you want to find the minimum of this function, but now in presence of a constraint x plus y minus 1 equal to 0. Let f of xy equal to x square plus y square as earlier, and take g of xy as x plus y minus 1. Your constraint, you take it as g of xy, that function, x plus y minus 1. Then, method of Lagrange multiplier says that minimum occurs for df minus lambda dg equal to 0. df minus lambda dg equal to 0. This lambda is called the Lagrange multiplier. Lagrange multiplier. What is df? Again 2x dx plus 2y dy minus lambda into what is dg? dx plus dy. Substitute that. Then 2x minus lambda into dx plus 2y minus lambda into dy equal to 0. So x equal to lambda by 2, y is equal to lambda by 2. How can we find lambda? Lambda can be found using this constraint itself, because x plus y minus 1 equal to 0. X equal to lambda by 2, y equal to lambda by 2, minus 1 equal to 0. So lambda is equal to 1. Substitute here, x is equal to 1 by 2, y is equal to 1 by 2. So minimum occurs not at 0, 0, but at half, half. Half, half. What is the meaning of x plus y minus 1? What is the meaning of x plus y minus 1? X plus y minus 1 plus y minus 1. It is actually a plane. It is actually a plane which cuts the xy plane in, see, if you have I will draw it again. If you have xy plane like this, this is x-axis, this is y-axis. What is x plus y equal to 1? X plus y equal to 1 is actually this straight line. This is 1, this is 1. Then x plus y in this line is always 1. That is nothing but x plus y minus 1 equal to 0. X plus y equal to 1. If you consider an extension towards the z direction, that will be a plane. That will be a plane. So this structure, when you cut this with the x plus y minus 1 equal to 0 plane, then your minimum will occur at half, half, not at 0, 0, because that plane will cut somewhere here. So the minimum will occur at another point, half, half. So this is the meaning of Lagrange multiplier. In presence of a constraint, what is the minimum value of a function? That you can calculate using this idea. So we have to use that idea here. We have if we have the constraints, say more than one constraints can be there. Suppose g is equal to constant, h is equal to constant, etc. are constraints. Then the minimum of a function f is given by df minus lambda 1 dg, lambda 1 dg, and lambda 2 d h, lambda 2 d h, minus lambda 3 the next function, and so on. Okay, if you have more than one constraint, then this is the procedure. Here lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3 are Lagrange multipliers. Their values can be calculated using these constraints itself. That is the idea. Okay, this is very simple method. So here you have to minimize log w of nr with or in presence of these two constraints. Sigma r nr equal to n, sigma r nr er equal to e. Then what is the procedure? Delta of log w of nr minus alpha sigma r delta nr. ഇതിനെ ചേഞ്ച് എടുത്തു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഈ n കോൺസ്റ്റന്റ് ആണ്. സോ ദ വേരിയേഷൻ ഓഫ് ദിസ് ക്വാണ്ടിറ്റി ഈസ് sigma r delta nr with some constant. Instead of lambda 1, I here put it as alpha. And the second case, if you take a variation, this e is constant, so that will vanish. And here you can take it as nr delta nr into er. Er is also fixed. We are just varying this number. Okay, നിങ്ങൾ പ്രോബ്ലം ആ ഡിസ്ട്രിബ്യൂഷൻ സെറ്റിലെ നമ്പർ ആണ് മാറ്റുന്നത്. So delta nr er. Again lambda 2, instead of lambda 2 you have beta, some other constant. Alpha and beta are Lagrange multipliers for this problem. Now this is sigma r minus delta nr log nr star plus 1. From this equation. Okay, without constraint, this is the condition for minima. With the constraint, you have to subtract those constraint equations. So that becomes minus delta nr log nr star plus 1 minus alpha delta nr corresponding to first constraint minus beta delta nr er corresponding to second constraint. All have the summation over r. This is true for any arbitrary delta nr, any arbitrary delta nr. So this term should vanish. Minus log nr star minus 1 minus alpha minus beta er equal to 0. This is minus log nr star minus 1 equal to alpha plus beta er. So log nr star equal to minus of alpha plus 1 minus beta er. Nr star is equal to, take exponential, e raised to minus alpha plus 1 into e raised to minus beta er. E raised to minus alpha plus 1 is another constant, say a. So nr star is equal to a into e raised to minus beta er. How can we find this a? We have the total number sigma r nr star should be n, total number of systems. So taking sum, you will get a as n divided by sigma r e raised to minus beta er. So nr star is equal to n into e raised to minus beta er divided by sigma r e raised to minus beta er. Then what is nr star divided by n? That is nothing but e raised to minus beta er divided by sigma r e raised to minus beta er. This equation looks like the same that we obtained for PRER using the concept of heat reservoir, and there it was e raised to minus beta er divided by sigma r e raised to minus beta er. So you may have the tendency to say that both these are same, but beware of the fact that here beta is 1 by kt, but this beta is actually our Lagrange multiplier. Okay, but we can show that this beta is the same as this beta. This Lagrange multiplier will also get the same value 1 by kt. That we will show in the next lecture, and then using this probability equation we will derive the entire thermodynamics of the system. Okay, thank you.